Good evening, everyone. It's really late at night, or I guess it's really early in the morning, whichever way you want to think about it. It's about 4:30 a.m. and I just finished a workout around 3, like a really intense workout, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to fall asleep in the next couple of hours. So I decided that I would make a rant video about something that's been on my heart for a while and something that I've been really thinking about. And so I'm not sure if anyone really watches my videos at all, but just a heads up, this is definitely a video where I'm going to be bitching a lot. So if you're someone who doesn't like rant videos or things of that nature, this video is not the video for you. But basically, I've been thinking a lot about my life and reflecting on decisions that I've made. And one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately is, people that I've followed in the past. And when I say follow, I don't necessarily mean things like social media or that type of follow. I mean like groups that I was a part of or jobs that I had where the leadership was very, very poor. And I've been kind of comparing that to jobs I've had where the leadership's very good. And one of the things that I want to talk about or kind of rant about in this video is basically what poor leadership looks like and why I think it's important in our lives to avoid following piss poor leaders. And so for one, to start off with my first point, I think a good leader is always someone who leads by example. And when I say lead by example, obviously I mean lead by good example. You want to follow someone that basically practices what they preach, and whatever it is they command that you do or advise you to do, they do themselves, and are able to basically demonstrate how following certain sets of rules or certain practices produce good fruit in life. And one of the things that I've noticed about leaders that are really poor leaders, is that they constantly give basically unsolicited advice that they usually don't follow, and unsolicited advice which is bad to begin with. Basically advice that doesn't bear fruit, or something that will usually lead you down a bad path. I wish I had an example, but I'm sure most people already have like a bunch of examples that they can think of. Another thing is a poor leader is also someone who never takes responsibility. And throughout my life, I've actually had many jobs where my manager or whoever's in charge basically never takes responsibility for all the things that they do wrong. And basically, whenever something goes wrong or whenever something doesn't go as planned, they basically always blame the people that are working under them. And as a leader, as a manager or as a boss or whatever, even if that's true, even if the people working under you are the ones at fault, blaming people that are working underneath you is a really, really bad look. As a leader, it's important that you pretty much take responsibility for everything that happens. As harsh as that is and as unfair as that may sound, basically, if you're the leader of a group or the leader of whatever, basically everything starts with you. When people look at your company or your group or whatever it is that you're in charge of, if you're the leader, people are going to look at your face first. And so anytime you're responsible for something that goes wrong, it's very important that you, as a leader, that you address it in not just a mature way, but also make sure that you're not trying to push the blame onto someone else, because that's just a really bad look. And a lot of the times, leaders that do that are actually just trying to find someone else to blame, basically just trying to find a scapegoat for their own shortcomings. And I've worked for so many people, so many managers that have basically done that crap, and it's really annoying. And I would advise people that, in the job world, things like that are always going to happen. But if you're working for someone, or if you're working for a company and you have to work under managers or leaders that are constantly blaming you for everything, I would strongly advise that you get out of that environment and find someone who's actually worth working for. Because, you know, if you stay in an environment like that, there's eventually gonna come a time where they end up blaming you for something where you can get in really, really big trouble. Something that's gonna cost you way more than what you're gonna want to pay. And it's something that's gonna cost you something a lot more serious than just losing your job, like some kind of major liability or some kind of lawsuit that's gonna put you in really big trouble. And so I'd strongly advise people that to always get out of situations like that. You know, never put yourself in a situation where you are the primary scapegoat, where you're pretty much blamed for everything. And so that's two things of what a poor leader is. Let me think. What's the third one? What makes a leader really, really bad? So, practicing what they preach and leading by example was point number one. And point number two is that a poor leader is someone who's always blaming other people. I don't think anyone can really disagree with that. I think another thing you really have to think about when following a group is their intentions. And that's something that I've been kind of reflecting on a lot too, is what is the goal? What is the goal of this person, this leader? And what is the goal of their group? And unfortunately, one of the things that I've noticed a lot too, while following a bunch of different groups and working for a bunch of different companies, is that part of the reason why things really didn't work out between me and these groups or these companies or whatever, is that their intentions were not really good. Their intentions were not really out of good faith. Like, for example, you may be following like some kind of political group or some religious group that has some kind of agenda, you know, that wants to make some kind of social change, but in actuality, they're not. Making that positive change is just something that they put on their foreheads so people will follow them, so people will give them money, you know, the typical tactic. But in actuality, these groups aren't actually out to do those things. They're just there to get basically followers and to get more money and to get publicity and stuff like that. So, you know, another thing that makes a leader a really, really bad leader is not having pure intentions. And one of the things that I would advise people is that if you want to be a part of a group, or whether it's political or religious, you know, always check to make sure that that group is has pure intentions. Because I can say, as someone who's 28 years old now, who just turned 28, that I have supported and followed many groups in my life that did not have pure intentions. You know, basically they reeled me in with, you know, some BS goal that sounded really good on paper, that was really appealing to me at first. But then I get to know them and I kind of see how things work within the group and how the social climate is. And before you know it, I realized that I've been following something that was completely fake, you know, completely, basically not at all what it claimed to be. And so that's my rant for now. I'm gonna make some more videos, kind of stemming off of this one. But this is just something that's been on my heart for a while. Is, you know, the fact that I've, you know, and I'm young, so these mistakes are inevitable. But it's just like, when I reflect on my life, I think about all the things that I've done wrong and how I can fix it. And I just realized that I've followed so many groups and worked for so many different companies and had so many friends that were just really, really poor. You know, they weren't good quality. the people I was working for were not worth it. Their leadership was really bad. And it's just that I understand that these are things that happen in life, but at some point, I think everyone realizes that these games get old, and they get old really quick. And that, if we're going to dedicate our time and energy into something in our lives, it's very important that we give it to someone who's worth it. We give our time to something that's worth it. Something that we can look back on and be proud of, and not basically, just looking back on our lives constantly and just being full of absolute regret, because no one really deserves that. No one deserves to be full of nothing but regret at the end of their lives. So this is just something that's been on my heart. And if anyone has any stories that they want to share in the comment section and feel the same way, you're more than welcome to. But other than that, I hope everyone has a good day, and that's it for now. That's the end of my rant. So everyone have a great day. Thank you.